Welcome to the Meredith Show, coming to you from Los Angeles today. We are thrilled to be in a 10,000-foot showroom with Source One Kitchen, Cabinets, and Design Center. And I have a guest who's come all the way from Michigan to share her amazing, and I mean amazing, story of overcoming adversity. And for sure, it is filled with courage to shine. Thank you so much, Brenda Tobin, for being here on the Meredith Show.
Thank you, Meredith.
And for people who are just tuning in, this is actually the second time Brenda has been on the show. When we were on NBC, you were a guest. I don't even want to age myself, but it's been like 10 years.
It's been a long time.
So welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
It's so good to see you and be back together. And there is so much to share. And I think it would be really cool for people to know that you practice homeopathic natural medicine.
I do.
So, but what I love about you is you don't just help people, you have pets.
I do. So I'm a homeopathic practitioner for animals and their people.
And their people.
And their
I love
people.
it.
Yes.
You don't hear that very often. And what I love about you is I've worked with you, even though we initially met in person, for years through Zoom. You have clients all over the world.
I do. So I work remotely, and I have clients as far away. I had a client in Indonesia, in a remote island, that I'm like, are you sure you're going to be able to get homeopathic remedies? And she did. She would have them flown in from Switzerland.
Oh my goodness. That is so amazing. And it's really cool what technology allows us to do. I have to say that your story, though, of how you came into that career is astonishing. And I know people will not only be inspired, but blown away. So let's start at the beginning with a little trip to the dentist that went awry.
So, yeah, when I was 27 years old, I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth were impacted, and I had to have them out, and I ended up getting a life-threatening blood infection called subacute bacterial endocarditis, and
you didn't know you had it at first, though.
No, I didn't, and I kept going to the doctor, and I was misdiagnosed many times.
Which almost led to your death, let's be honest, because so many people missed it that if they had gone, like, tell us how they described it when they really found, how critical it was that you needed care.
So it was a Friday. I finally saw a doctor who listened to me, and he said, you need a blood culture, like today. Go now. And that was on a Friday. On Sunday, I got a call from the lab doctor saying, get into a hospital now. You should not be here. You should be dead.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So you went to the hospital, and what did you discover?
So I discovered that literally I would have lines of doctors, because I went to a teaching hospital. This was in Boston. And I would have lines of doctors outside of my room, cardiologists, internists, infectious disease, all studying my case, because
it was so crazy.
Because it was so crazy.
Most people don't get to the dentist and have a problem with their heart, but it was actually an infection that went and traveled through your body.
Correct.
And landed in your heart.
It landed into my heart and literally ate my aortic valve.
Oh my goodness. How do you live without that?
You don't.
So tell us what you did. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. So it literally was a battle between infectious disease and cardiology as to when to open me up to replace this valve.
Oh my goodness.
Because I was so loaded with bacteria. Had they opened me too soon, it would have.
You wouldn't make it.
No. So I was in heart failure. I couldn't walk 2 feet in front of me without being out of breath. And it just got to the point that I was in full-fledged heart failure, that there's like, okay, we can't wait any longer, and we have to replace the valve. So they replaced my valve with a human donor valve.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and many people have that, but what I understand from a friend who just had a heart procedure is the meds can be horrific. You chose to take a totally different approach. Talk to us about that.
Sure. So around that time, I started learning about homeopathy, and I decided that that was the path that I wanted to take. And so the doctor said that valve would last 10 years, maybe 15 if I were lucky. I lasted 21 years.
Oh my goodness. 21 because why do you believe that was the case?
Because I chose the natural route. And
what does the natural route mean for people who are at home? Like, instead of taking heavy duty medicine that were drugs, what did you do?
Sure. I used homeopathy.
What does that mean for people at home?
Homeopathy is a natural form of medicine. It's over 200 years old. And the theory behind it is like cures like. So it's a very individualized form of medicine too. And so over those years, any ailment, cough, cold, anything like that, I chose to use homeopathy. Homeopathy always brings the body back into balance.
But I want to go deeper with that. Like, I know you said you chose homeopathy. You literally sent me to Whole Foods for $10 to get pellets for my dog after I spent hundreds of misdiagnoses for an allergy, and she was cured in days.
And thousands of dollars, right?
Yes, it gets so expensive to go the traditional route. So when you say homeopathy, is it using herbs? Tell me what that means.
Yeah, sure. So homeopathic remedies are, if you go to the store, to Whole Foods, they usually come in a little blue vial, and they're just white little pellets. Most of them are made from plant material. Some are made from minerals, things like that. So we have over 8,000 homeopathic remedies to choose from.
Most people just don't know about them. So I just love, like, if you're watching at home and you're seeing Brenda and I and her beautiful heart, which is still working right now, and all the people and pets that you've helped, there are always healthy ways to do it. What I love about what you do is there are no side effects. Explain that.
Yeah, there are no side effects. It's safe. It's gentle. Basically, if we choose the incorrect remedy, it just doesn't work.
But it never hurts you.
It does not hurt you.
And it's often so reasonable. Talk to people at home, and please, this is your camera. Like, if you were to advise somebody who's really sick or has a loved one who's sick, what are some ways that you can help them? Find a practitioner, yes.
So find a practitioner, and most of us now work remotely, which makes it really nice. And when you have your first initial consult with a homeopathic practitioner, it takes sometimes up to 2 hours. It's really involved. I take a good deep look at you or at your pet. It's not just this 15-minute in and out, here's your prescription, see you later. I look at the mental, emotional, physical imbalances or symptoms of that being.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there. And I'm going to speak to my camera. It's mind, body, and soul. All of it in a holistic look at the health of somebody is a part of your journey. And often when you go to a traditional doctor, it's like you said, just a prescription and bye-bye, or go do this exercise and bye-bye.
Right.
So I love how thorough you are. I have to commend you. And I think what really makes your story amazing is that you went so long without needing help. But let's talk about what led up to the second time you had heart surgery.
Sure. So I got a divorce, and it was just my son and I just started feeling like, okay, I need care. And there's a time and a place. I'm not against allopathic medicine, but for me, that's my last ditch effort. I mean, let's face it, it saved my life. So I went to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, it's time. So I had to go in. My blood was really low, my hematocrit. So
You were weak.
I was so weak, and it just happened very quickly. I was extremely weak, and I was going in to have a blood transfusion, and my ex-husband at that time serves me with emergency motion to gain full custody of our child.
So I want to stop you right there. He was not being nice. He was literally kicking you when you were down at that time. And tell us what you did and how you reacted, because it's super inspirational.
Sure. So I was a paralegal before, so I put on my paralegal hat, I grabbed my laptop, and okay, this is what we have to do. And nothing's going to stop me, and nobody's going to take my child away. Mama Bear came out. So I went to the hospital, and I started preparing affidavits.
From the hospital bed?
From the hospital bed, hooked up with, I had 9 bags of blood transfusion, 9 bags.
Oh my gosh.
So
you were really ill. You were on the edge.
And they could not operate for my heart. So another, before it was the bacteria, this time it's the blood. And it's like, we have to get your hematocrit up in order to operate, because now if we open you up, you'll die on the table. So we have that balance to, figure out
Never an easy moment for you. No breaks there.
Never. It's never. I take this.
It's like the triple trouble. I'm so sorry. It's only I try to inject humor because if you don't, it'll take you down sometimes.
Absolutely.
And I want to say that at that time, you managed not only to maintain custody with your son.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
It is true.
But you got yourself out to LA. So this is actually your second trip because only one surgeon would take you to help you.
So my heart, because it calcified from the human donor valve, ended up calcifying. Nobody on the East Coast could touch me. Boston couldn't touch me. Duke couldn't touch me.
They didn't want to because it was so risky, right?
They were afraid.
I get it. So who was the brave soul who helped you?
Dr. Richard Sheeman. He said, I called him. So he was the surgeon that put the valve in the first place. And I said, well, if you put it in, he can take it out.
Wow.
So contacted LA.
Where was his hospital?
So what is it, Ronald Reagan?
Yeah.
Contacted him there. And he's like, absolutely, come on out.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then you came out here, and this is fascinating to me. Mm-hmm. Not only did you do beautifully in your surgery, but again, your recovery, you still didn't take heavy meds?
No.
Unreal.
I still did not. So, and you know what? UCLA, I would go there for a splinter. I tell you, I mean,
they're
that good. They were wonderful. They offered me Reiki, so I'm also a Reiki master. They offered Reiki. They offered essential oils if I felt nauseated. Of course, I took medicine while I was there, allopathic meds, but
once released, you took care of yourself.
Nothing, and I will tell you too. I had testing, so at this time I'm living in South Carolina. That's where you and I met.
Yes.
And I was able to do all my preliminary testing there, and then come out to LA. So while I was there, I mean, I had doctors like holding my hand because they're like, she's gonna die.
Oh my God.
Seriously. And
what carried you through? What carries you through when you know that your heart could fail and odds are not in your favor?
My children.
Just knowing why you're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And life is very precious and delicate.
Yep.
I have to say, you are a medical miracle in motion.
I am an anomaly.
It's unbelievable to me and so inspiring because you not only had courage to face heart surgery 2 times, but you had your challenges, as we all did, as you said, with your ex. Mm-hmm. And now you have this extraordinary story. Talk about a comeback queen. I'd like to end with how you grew your business during COVID.
So the reason why I moved to Michigan was I thought I found the love of my life, and I moved out there and it wasn't so. So I had a choice. I could sit and curl up in a ball and cry, or I could do something about it. And at the time, because of all my medical setbacks, I also had, business setbacks. So I wasn't not working. So I had no money.
You can't work when you're like laying back healing your heart. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, it was a lot. So I had no money and my credit was, so I decided while I was still at his house, but I stayed up in my office and you're going to get through this. And I worked my butt off and because that's all I could do, which was great. I cleaned up everything.
No, that's not true. I'm going to stop you. You could have just laid back and cried and said, I made a bad decision, what to do next.
Right.
You were in debt, if I remember, my memory serves me.
Big time.
And then what did you create for viewers at home who want to be inspired?
Yeah, so I took my business from feast or famine to, what did we figure? Something like 400 times.
400% increase in revenue.
Yes.
And now, aren't you going to Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
I mean, they're calling on her all over the world now. This is unbelievable. What are you doing in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, so the American University of Emeritus reached out to me, and they heard me on a YouTube video, and they reached out to me. So they want me to teach equine homeopathy. So homeopathy can be used for any species of animals. Okay.
Equine is horses?
Horses. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. For the sheiks bar, and I get to go to and teach the trainers how to apply homeopathy to their horses.
Unbelievable.
I know.
So you never know where your journey is going to take you.
Never.
Today it's California, soon Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And I have to say, thank you so much for your willingness to open up and share your story, because a lot of people live a hard life or have challenge and they keep it to themselves. And I just think that's selfish. The world needs to hear your amazing story and courage. And Brenda, thank you for being the only person in the history of the Meredith Show to come on twice and fly in from Michigan is a first. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to take you out tonight in LA to extend the fun. And for people watching at home, I know you want Brenda's contact information. So here it is on the screen. And I want to say, if you or somebody you know out there has an amazing story, don't keep it to yourself. Take a little time and find the courage to share it and shine like Brenda Tobin. Thank you, Brenda, for being with us.
Thank you so much.
If you liked today's episode, we hope that you'll like us on Facebook and stay connected. You can find us under The Meredith Show there and on Instagram under The Meredith Show. And if you or somebody you know you think will make a great guest, please email us at meredith@themeredithshow.com and my team will set up an appointment right away.